Paint sounded really interesting. This was released in 2023. It's written and directed by Britt McAdams, and we have a cast including Owen Wilson as our protagonist, Carl Nargle. And in general, it's watchable. It's certainly a watchable film, but I wouldn't say that I loved it. It's about a painter who's definitely giving Bob Ross vibes, and he is a successful television painter. He's a really interesting character, definitely a very well-written character. But then things come along to maybe steal the rug from underneath his feet, and it's about his life, his relationships, and of course, his career. And I definitely feel like, while there are some aspects of the narrative that are quite strong, for me, at least, I think it's more character-driven. It's more driven by Carl Nargle, and it really relied on that character being very well written, with the performance being very good. And thankfully, that is certainly the case. But I do think the narrative is maybe not the most fascinating. There were definitely times when it was quite interesting, but I'd say I probably really enjoyed maybe 50% of it. Not a specific chunk. It's not that I enjoyed the beginning and hated the end, but in general, I just felt like this bit was interesting, the next bit not so much, and it kind of went back and forth like that. So by no means is it a bad film, but the narrative is maybe not quite as interesting as I wanted it to be. But Carl Nargle is a really interesting character. Owen Wilson gave a really great performance, and I did enjoy following his journey. So even the times when the narrative maybe wasn't the strongest, there was still something on screen that I could enjoy, usually in the form of the character of Carl Nargle. So it's not too bad, but it's not as interesting as perhaps it could be. That being said, do I recommend it? Yes, absolutely. The character is really likable, really interesting, and I think it's worth watching to follow his journey. Visually, quite an appealing film. We have some nice bright lighting, which is always something that I'm a fan of. We have some decent music in this, a nice variety in locations. So there's enough in this film that I'm very happy to recommend it. The narrative may not be as interesting as I wanted it to be, but that being said, Paint is still a decent experience. I quite enjoyed the time I spent watching it. Wilson gives a great performance with the character of Carl Nargle, and ultimately, I'm quite happy to recommend it.